Well, hi and welcome to Glitch 2600. Who am I? I'm Brian, aka Glitch, your friendly host through all things geekery, and you're here for a Glitch Byte, which is a tips and tricks we can normally consume in under 15 minutes, and today we're going to be talking about the RØDE Wireless Go's, or more, the RØDE Wireless Go IIs. And you won't see the transmitter on here because the question came up how you can use it as a dual cam or dual cam dual microphone in Ecamm Live and control each one individually. And while, yes, you can do the gain separately on each one to have control, but you might want to mute, which you can do from the receiver. There's ways you can mute each person from the receiver, but maybe you want more granular audio control. And you can do that using Loopback and a setting in the RØDE Central. So just to show that, let's pop on over and take a quick look. So if we come over here and we'll bring up the software, the first things to keep in mind that's most important is this setting up here where you see right now you have backlight, you have gain. So that gain control just means on here or on the transmitter that, on the receiver, there's a little knob on here, you just can't see it very well, where you can see how much, and it lets us dial it in at 3 levels, like low, medium, high. You notice if I click in here, then it goes to medium, then to high, and you can treat that separately for each transmitter. Now, you could go and turn on something called fine control, which, as you see here, lets you switch it and get closer to 24, or you can go all the way down to -30, and then all the way up to, if I remember right, 0. But it goes in 3 block increments. But the setting I want you to stick on for Ecamm is the split mode. If I switch this to something called merged, then what'll happen is it'll bring them all together as one audio source, one stereo source, the right and left side, and then you have this room for safety channel, which we'll talk about that. I'm working on a review much later. But right now you can do it in this split mode, which treats transmitter 1, which I marked with a red piece of tape. You can treat transmitter 1 as your left channel and transmitter 2 as your right channel. And that becomes important when we look at what we can do in Ecamm and with Loopback. So normally we'll do a quick, we'll switch over and do a live demo mode just to show what that looks like. Normally when we're in Ecamm here, you notice we get the drop down and we can choose our microphone. We have our sound levels together up here in the top. So where we have those sound levels, you can drop and grab another mic. I can add another one real quick and add the RØDE Wireless Go, and I can have 2. But if I were to turn this on, you'd see both of them together. The downside with that, so let's go ahead and just turn one on, which when we do is going to mess with it, but I'm going to mute my other. You see, you'll probably hear me in double. So I'll mute this one, and you'll hear me on here, and that's just 1. If I turn on my second one, it'll do the same thing. We'll just hit in auto, and you'll see 1 level. Obviously, that's not what we want. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for a second. And be back on my normal microphone. And we're going to drop out of live demo mode to use something called Loopback. So when I go into Loopback here, so you can see that I already kind of had it up here on the screen. You can pick your audio source. So for me, I made a new one and as audio source, so we'll just delete this so you can see it. When I came in, oops, I deleted the whole thing, so we'll just do a whole brand new one. So here's we'll do the Wireless Go, we'll go new device, and we'll call it Wireless Go 1. We'll take this source here. Once it highlights. And we'll hit delete. Now when we come to grab our sources, I'll come down and you'll see one that says Wireless Go receiver. And that's pretty cool because if I turn this on, if I turn back on my transmitter 1, look at that audio spike. Which side does it come on? Just the left side. And that's great because when we come over here to this audio source, hit delete, we can add this in, and it's still on that left side, but see, this is how we can treat each one separately. So now I'm using the one with the red, and that's one source. If we start up the other one, the second one, then we'll start to see that come in on the right side. And that becomes really powerful because now what we're going to do is we're going to delete one side. So if you grab this line and just hit delete down here, now we can go and draw this. And look, if I mute this first one, so I'll mute it. Now, if I talk, we're not seeing it on both sides, but see how it's coming in now as stereo. So that's my RØDE Wireless Go I. If I go over to number 2, we do the exact same thing in reverse. So I'll unmute this one and mute the first one. And now we'll take this, delete that line, and draw a new one from the right side up. And you can name this whichever. I chose to do it this way. I do find for it to pick up an Ecamm properly, it works best if you turn this off and then turn it back on, turn this off, and then turn that back on. Now if we come back over to Ecamm and do another live demo mode, now you'll notice I have some more power. So instead, if I come in here and hit plus, it's muted, but I can come in here and choose the Go I. Let's go ahead and go like this. So we'll mute it. We have the Go I. And if I unmuted that, we'll mute the first one. Now, if we unmute this, as I talk into the microphone, you'll hear me now. So this is all coming in with that RØDE Wireless Go I. And so at any point now, I could turn around and add in my RØDE Wireless Go II. And the cool thing is, I'll show you how they both work. We'll turn them both on. So we'll unmute. Now you'll hear me in double. I muted this one so you could just tell. So I hit the button on the back to mute, and you'll see now there's only coming in on 2. So the cool thing about that is I can mute them without doing this button now. So if I turn them both on, you'll hear me in double. But if I mute one, now you only hear me in 1. So they're coming in separately. The other cool thing now is that since this is the first one, I'm going to lower the volume a lot. Now you can only hear me a little bit. But now I can treat them separately. So that's where this becomes really powerful, because now I can dial in the people separately using Loopback. Now, if I wanted to, let's flip back over there and we'll go out of live demo mode. And if I remember how, there we go. And we switch back over. Now, if I'm over here, I could control the audio separately here and just lower the volume. So since I'm talking on number 2 right now, I could come over here and do the same thing and lower the volume before it actually gets to Ecamm. But why would I want to jump around? Instead, I can leave this up all the way and use the 2 separately. So I'm only using one at a time right now. And that's how you can have 2 2 lavaliers that work really well in Ecamm. So bring back over here. We'll switch my mic back, just so you guys don't have to deal with it. but it's a really powerful way for me with these two microphones to still manage it in my interface and not have to go to the little display that you can kind of see right here and mess with it. So now I don't have to come over here, switch and hit these buttons on the back to change around. And instead I can do it in the interface in Ecamm, have it as two microphones, have a two-person interview, and control it all in the same Ecamm interface. So I hope you found that useful and instructive. If so, I would love if you would like and subscribe. And if you need to know how to do that or where to go do that, well, the good news is you can come find us on YouTube using the link below. You can also hover over that QR code to your right and hover over that with your smartphone and it'll take you to the page. Just make sure you hit the bell to be able to be notified when we go live. Otherwise, you can also find us in all the spots at Glitch 2600, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. But we are going to be doing a little bit more going into the RØDE Wireless Go's, or RØDE Wireless Go IIs. Twos are where we can have two mics to one receiver. It's the new technology, so it allows us to change some of these settings inside. So we do have a review coming for that. I'm working on it even as we speak. So if you like this, stay tuned because we're going to add more and we're going to go way in depth. But I want to get this out there quick to help some of my Ecamm people out there and anyone else using. I mean, you could use this with any system that you have virtual mics with. So you can use this on a PC using anything through OBS and doing the same type of setup with a virtual mic. You can use it in StreamYard and all the other ones. So it doesn't just have to be Ecamm Live. That's what I'm using. So I want to make sure, to call that out. So if you enjoyed it, please come back. Know that we normally do our Glitch Bytes on Mondays, but I want to get this special out there. And thanks for stopping by. I hope you had a great time. So did I. And we'll catch you. Watch that next video. Watch all the other ones. And we'll catch you soon.